5 or 6 months ago, 𝗙𝗪𝗡 was posting about the $7,000 she made on Twitter. And this is around the time he started paying Twitter influencers. And so 𝗙𝗪𝗡 has been sort of doing the rounds with 𝗙ecie𝗶𝗪 and all these other right-wing influencers. And she has recently had a bit of a blow up on Twitter in the last year. She's one of the women that was covering the migrant crisis. Remember way back when, where she was going around the airports and trying to say that every Hispanic person she saw was a migrant that was being shipped around the country. It was part of the conspiracy theory of Biden and the Democrats are moving migrants to various cities to win. She is a total asshole. Now, the bombshell news about 𝗙𝗪𝗡 today is, this is amazing. Today she came out. She just had Elon's baby. Elon just had his 13th kid. And now with this right-wing Maga influencer. Dude, isn't that crazy? Now, what's funny about this, she comes out and said 5 months ago she gave birth to Elon's kid. So that means somewhere around January, she started boning Elon and she fathered his kid. Now, he has been elevating her tweets. Now, what I couldn't help but notice with this was he's been sort of soft promoting her to a large degree. And remember Tiffany Fong? This woman, Tiffany Fong, she started getting these big payments from X. $20,000 a month, right? And everybody was wondering if she was sleeping with Elon too. And then there was a falling out with Tiffany Fong and Elon unfollowed her. But so it looks like Elon is running a little scam, a little edgelord to baby pipeline on Twitter, where he finds some young woman that he then starts throwing money to. And then I think he eventually tries to impregnate them. Oh, shit. Dude, this is a fucking scandal, bro. This is so funny because this Crypto Jesus account back in November, Tiffany Fong posted about her Twitter earnings. So in September and October, she got $300 one month. Then she posted that $600 the other month. Then in November, right around the election, she posted this, that she got paid $21,000 for 2 weeks. Now, this was when the Crypto Jesus guy, the day after she posted this, he posted, I have a theory as to how Tiffany Fong and her alt are making so much money. Elon Musk is giving her a lot of money because he wants to impregnate her. This guy called it out. Oh, man. And of course, now it's funny because right around this time with the migrant stuff, she was sleeping with Elon and now getting pregnant with him, which is fucking wild, bro. Dude, the right-wing influencers are so grimy. They're so grimy when you think about it. These right-wing influencers are so tawdry. They go around, they're so incestuous with each other, and it's kind of funny how they talk all this shit about Christianity and family values and all that, but they're having kids out of wedlock. Elon's paying money trying to get laid. They'll diss OnlyFans girls, and then they'll take a fat paycheck from Elon in order to birth his baby. And what's funny about it, though, is she wants to opt out. She wants to, I don't want the news to cover this. Let the child grow up in a normal environment. But you had a kid out of wedlock with a guy who was paying you on his social media site while you were parlaying that attention into social media clout and becoming a voice in the right-wing world, while the guy you had the baby out of wedlock with is out there buying presidential candidates and, doing shit like releasing classified information and hacking the fucking U.S. Treasury. So I hate to break it to you, Ashley, but your kid's never going to have a normal life. And for you to act like you want that to happen is pretty wild. It's pretty tone deaf. You know, if you wanted to have your kid to have a normal life, you probably shouldn't have had one with the fucking biggest loser on the planet who has decided to insert himself in the middle of every government scandal. This is fucking wild, dude. And I love how they're spinning it. They're saying she's a woman of tremendous integrity committed to protecting her family. But like, what family? She doesn't even have a family. Elon's not her family. He's a dude who basically paid her for sex. He paid her for sex on Twitter, bro. Dude, Twitter's the new romper room. Oh man, that's rich. I mean, I think it's great that, like, you know, you want to have a kid. That's fine. Have a kid. But dude, I just think it's pretty scandalous. The right wing, because of the moral ruler they place next to everybody. Right wing philosophy is about them being moral and about them being traditional family and traditional values. And they're constantly anti-LGBTQ. They're like, oh, this kind of thing betrays the traditional values of America. And this is not in line with their traditional values shtick that they try to sell us. Like, I have no problem if 𝗙cie_𝗡𝗪 wants to have a kid out of wedlock. I have no problem. I have no problem if 𝗙cie_𝗡𝗪 wants to have sex with fucking married men and billionaires. She could have Trump's baby for all I care. She could be having lesbian and gay sex 7 days a week, 24/7. She could have an OnlyFans and do adult material. I don't care. None of that would ever be something that I would judge her for. My issue with this is when they present a morality and they attack segments of our population. They attack the LGBTQ community. They attack people of different religions or faiths. They attack people of different cultural persuasions. They attack their rituals, or they attack people for wearing hijabs. You know what I'm saying? It's like everything about them is this whole, like, we are the arbiters of morality and we're attacking everybody who lives different, and we're giving you the finger wag for, you know, traditional family values, but then they actually live as fucking degenerate as everybody else. And that's the problem. Now, this would be a good point to interject on how 𝗙cie_𝗡𝗪 even became an influencer in the first place. It was during Gamergate. She was on Twitter with the handle 𝗪𝗡_𝗏𝗡, where she sold nude photos of herself and racially fetishized men. Now, again, I want to point out that there's nothing wrong with essentially being a sex worker. The problem is when you are a sex worker who then engages in some type of family values grift and aiming judgments at other groups of people as though they are demonic and or dangerous. It's this level of hypocrisy that we see from the right wing that really makes their entire ethos so problematic. Look at this. Oh, here we go. Here's one for 𝗙cie_𝗡𝗪. The only people that can destroy this toxic wave of feminism is women. Bring back family values. Make monogamy great again. Look at this. Vivek just called out the system for financially incentivizing single motherhood, right? But she's consistent, at least. Like, she does have a consistent thread of valuing being a mother. She's all anti-childless women, but having a kid out of wedlock with a man who's got 12 other kids and is not involved with any of those women in a family sort of way is, again, I'm not judging it. They could have a harem where her and all the kids' moms hang out and, like, I don't know, feed each other grapes and bathe Elon and, like, wash his scrotum. I don't fucking care. My problem, though, is the people who levy judgment. When they levy moral judgment on LGBTQ people or drag queens or anybody who lives differently for them, and then they simultaneously are living as a degenerate. I don't think there's anything wrong with, you know, having kids out of wedlock and shit, just for the record. I really don't. For me, this all boils down to that hypocritical nature. It's just like the 1,000th instance of the family values party showing that they don't believe really in any family values for themselves, you know? And this is a MAGA staple. They do this in all walks of you know, I mean, they do it with states' rights. Whenever there's something like abortion or gay marriage or discrimination against LGBTQ people or education, they talk about states' rights. But the minute a state decides to welcome immigrants, they're like federal law. The minute a state supports LGBTQ people, they're like federal law. The minute a state lets somebody get an abortion, they're like, we're going to hang the doctors. They are just con jobs. They're disingenuous and they're completely dishonest. And they have a pattern of judgment and accusation and wanting to inflict punishment upon people while they're behaving in the exact same way or worse, you know? And that lack of self-awareness coupled with that fake moral center is really fucking troublesome. Elon Musk, the self-proclaimed savior of civilization, child out of wedlock, so much for the traditional values. Elon this is the best time to have kids. Oh, look at this person. These two are definitely having a kid together. Elon Musk and 𝗙lie 𝗡𝗪 are a classic example of no matter how ugly you are, chicks will do you if you have money. Oh shit, this is interesting. You see this take right here? As a woman, I know exactly why 𝗙lie 𝗡𝗪 announced the baby today. It wasn't because she was about to be doxxed, but my money is on Elon being out with another woman for Valentine's Day and she's pissed. Dude, I could actually see that. In the reality TV world, that would be a good storyline, right? She's mad because he's out with somebody else, so she outs the baby. There's Nick Fuentes putting 𝗙lie 𝗡𝗪 in a headlock. I mean, she's hanging out with the right people, right?
I'm sure you've seen by now the brand new gossip about Elon Musk's baby mama, 𝗙lie 𝗡𝗪. And you know what? Look, 𝗙lie's a friend of mine, so I'm not going to viciously attack her at all.
Dude, look at that. 𝗙lie's a friend of Nick Fuentes. Can you imagine? I mean, obviously they're pretty chummy if they're hanging out in an apartment here. He's putting her in a headlock. Can you imagine, though, being friends with Nick Fuentes? Like, bro. And that's who, you know, Elon Musk, they're all these white supremacists are tied together. But, dude, she's friends with Nick Fuentes. But now we know, dude. I just think that's juicy, though, isn't it? Because Elon is lecturing us about wokeness and how bad wokeness is. But I don't know, dude. I think having 13 kids from different women, I actually don't think that's good. I don't think that's good. I think a lot of those kids are growing up without a fucking father. Without, you know, he's obviously not spending any time with any of those kids. None of them. Those kids are like possessions or something that he creates and then his handmaids take care of them. Dude, I wonder if he'll force them to the compound. If 𝗙lie's going to move to the compound or not. But now, though, I think we know he was trying to get Tiffany Fong in there. I don't think Tiffany Fong was having it, though. She may be a right-wing con, but I guess she's not a complete sucker for the deal. I will say, though, he's lucky he's wealthy, because if he was not wealthy, he wouldn't be having sex with anyone. So now he's at least able to have, you know, fairly decent-looking right-wing influencers. But you got to wonder who else he's going to go after. Who's he going to be out for next? What is up, guys? Thank you so much for watching. You like the video, you want to support independent resistance media, you know what to do. Drop that sub, hit the like button, and please share it. And we do love our members, so if you want to become a member, it's another really great way to support. Thanks again for everything, guys. I'll see you next time. Let's go.